I don't give a fuck anymore.
We are live, ladies and gentlemen, and we are with the one and only Mr. Keith Shibley. There he is.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing, my man?
Doing all right, man. Long day today.
Yeah, I had a crazy like 2 days, man, myself, but
I did figure out how to use this chat. I didn't see it last time. Now I know if I just hit the other button, I can actually read it and participate.
No, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I put these on. It's fucking light blinding me. I have my overhead light on. But on time, which is good for me. And yesterday I just I did like an Instagram live last night where I had to take it down. It's just emotions were flooded and stuff, but it is what it is.
Man.
Yeah, you know, it is. But we had a great time yesterday, though. We had a reunion, family reunion for my pops. And just a lot of great, people came by. And then, there's me and my pop right there. Yeah, he dropped like 90 pounds, man. But he's, he's a fighter, So just get hope for the best and just stay in the present, my man,
Yeah.
So how was your week?
It was all right, man. I mean, it was a little busy, but not too bad. I'm getting too old, man. They have to rotate us around at work for training purposes. So it's like 2 days I was on midnight shift, then I was on like an afternoon shift, then I had morning shift. I'm too old for that, man. My body can't get used to that sleep schedule.
No, I hear you, man. And I'm at that age too. Like if I don't get like enough sleep or whatever, sleep is everything, man. Yep. It's everything.
Dude, naps are so underrated. I love taking naps. Are underrated, man. I love them.
How did I used to Keith, I used to go out and do 8 balls of cocaine and not even sleep and go to work and finish the whole day of work like it was nothing back in my 20s. Now I'm like, if I even did that, I'd be laid up for fucking 2. Well, actually, I'd probably fucking ruin my life. But I'm saying, I'd be laid up though for fucking at least 72 hours of recovery time I'd need now.
Yeah. I couldn't sleep when I was on opiates. I might sleep 2 or 3 hours a night max.
Yeah. But then if you had them, they give you that little bit of energy, that you thought that was going to be great, but then once they go away, here comes hell.
Well, that's when you also start falling asleep sitting up because you don't sleep for like days and days at a time.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Hey, everyone out there, thank you for being on Ask a Cop. Keith, if you haven't seen the episode Fighting Crime and Demons with Keith Shibley, I'm going to just throw for the newcomers, on here, just a little preview, of Keith and what he has done. And then we're going to say some hellos to the chat. This is a chat episode where you guys want to ask Keith anything at all, anything you'd ever want to ask a cop. And Keith was involved with FBI stuff, anything like that. Please feel free to ask. And here's a little clip of Keith from the Navy Yard shooting.
There were countless heroes on that September morning when the Washington Navy Yard was just thrown into utter chaos.
That's when a gunman took his life as well as the lives of 12 others. Well, today, one of the first police officers to respond when the shots rang out was honored.
Corporal Keith Shibley is presented the Valor Award for his immediate response and courageous actions during the shooting rampage at the Washington Navy Yard on September
When we found people, we would escort them out because we didn't know where the shooter was. So we didn't want to direct people out of the door when the shooter could be around the corner. So half of us would escort them out, half the team would continue, and then once they were escorted out, we would meet back up and go back in.
Multiple shots fired, multiple people down.
We didn't know if they were law enforcement shots or from the suspect at the time. They were on multiple levels as we were coming down the steps, but you could hear you could hear the shots while we were inside the building.
Can you describe the faces that you were rescuing?
Just shocked and scared, I guess. I mean, some were calm and some were shocked and scared. It was just a mix of all emotions. I believe 77 law enforcement officers that entered the building that day, not to mention the countless people that were outside of the building. So it was an effort by the whole community and all the law enforcement partners within the district. It doesn't hit you probably until about time you go home. Would I do it again? Absolutely. I couldn't live with myself knowing that I could do something to save lives and didn't do it. I wouldn't be able to live with myself knowing that I could have done something and didn't do anything at all.
Now, real quick, Keith, that's great stuff right there, though. But before I go and say hello to the comments there, were you in your addiction during that time?
It started shortly after the Navy Yard. So
okay.
when I got the award and did that news interview, it had just started. So, yeah, I think because that was like 6 or 7 months after the Navy Yard that I did the news thing and got my award. So I was definitely like, I was probably in it for a few months then, but
Okay.
during the Navy Yard, I was not. No.
Do you think that incident kind of sprung that on, or no? You
Yeah,
seem like a guy who doesn't get affected though by a lot of stuff, except for like the kids and stuff that we talked about. Like, because you had to put someone down before, and that didn't bother you.
I think it's a bunch of stuff. That was the last thing that made my cup overflow. At that time it was probably what 2013. So at that time I had been a cop for 10 years, maybe. So it was that plus it's talking to a lot of cops that have been through traumatic incidents. It's not always the traumatic incident themselves. I think that's 50% of it. The other 50% of it is how your department treats you afterwards. Now, my department, they treated me fine. I mean, they gave me an award for it, but the FBI was not happy with what I did. And they were thinking about doing disciplinary action for me going in the building instead of going to the command post where I was. So I think it was just a perfect storm of that was just like the straw that broke the camel's back plus everything else that was happening.
Do you think the FBI does that though, because like they want more of the credit, like you're supposed to report with them or something like that first? Or?
So I don't know if it's about the credit with them. Well, they definitely like to take credit for a lot of stuff. Trust me. I mean, they're all about their press releases, but I think it was because I was representing them because I was there full time. They're not. They don't consider themselves first responders like that. They're not firefighters. They don't run into a burning building. They don't run into an active shooter situation. They investigate after the fact. You know what I mean? So, But I mean, I was trained for 10 years to run in. So that's what my partner and I were both street cops. And that's what we did because, I mean, for 10 years, that's what we're told to do. And, you know, when all hell breaks loose, you revert right back to the lowest form of training. So we went in the building instead of to the command post.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy shit too, because that building, like you said, had like the 5-foot high cubicle. So every corner that you're turning, you don't know if he's going to be right there shooting and fucking, I mean, that takes a ball.
There's so many people in there, man. There were 70 some cops, man. And we were all on different radio channels. So it was, I was more worried about getting shot by another cop than I was like the one bad guy, to be honest.
Yeah. Out of like panic, like, you know what I mean? You got identified and shoot. Yeah.
The one video that I saw is like there's two different shootouts with this guy, and I wasn't involved in either one of them. But the one shootout was in an office, and they're shooting at the bad guy, but the rounds are going through the wall, and on the other side of the wall was a stairwell where cops were coming up. So they almost got shot through a wall. It was crazy. It baffles me that no cops got. Well, I'm sorry, one cop did get shot. Two cops got shot.
By him?
By him.
Okay.
One of the cops got shot in the legs right before the last shootout. A DC cop got shot in the legs. And then the SWAT officer, the DC cop that was on the SWAT team that ended the fight, he took a 9mm round, like right in the chest plate. And he said, I talked to him like a few months afterwards. He said he didn't even know he was shot till he went back to the station to change. He took off his stuff. He's like, what is that? Because I guess with adrenaline and everything.
Adrenaline, yeah. I mean, it's got to be there. Absolutely, though.
And the vest did its job, so
let's say some hellos here. Tracy, how you doing? Thank you for being here. Tracy out in the UK. Thanks for being here, Trace. I appreciate you. Frank, great to see you as always, my friend. Always love seeing you. Annette, hope all is well. And we're going to be talking about a bit of everything. Some stuff that Keith's done on the job, some stuff that maybe I have going on. But what we're doing is we're doing a weekly segment where Keith is going to be here pretty much. I think we're going to keep it on this time, Thursday at 8 p.m. And it's just going to be a show consistent. And because me and Keith hit it off right from the start. And I just, I like his attitude. I always say Keith would have been a street guy if he was born somewhere. Mm-hmm. And I'm not taking anything away from cops and stuff. I mean, you got to give them credit because, I mean, these guys are running the fucking buildings, saving people that they don't even know. So, and you don't know how you're going to react. And everyone says, oh, I would have done this. Yeah, Keith, do you ever see any videos of like, a shootout, let's say, and like a cop did something or whatever, but then like you'll see the comments like, I would have done this. You don't know what the fuck you're going to do until it happens.
Well, you know who the worst people are to do that? Or other cops. Other cop, man, we'll Monday morning quarterback the shit out of a cop video. But yeah, I mean, until you're in that spot, it's hard to tell what you're going to do, to be honest with you.
Yeah, instinctual.
I mean, there's some stuff that, I mean, because that's one of the bad things. If it's like a traumatic incident or a death of some sort, that's the one thing that keeps a lot of cops up at night is because you have a split second to decide, and then the media slows down the video on, pick a news channel, and they pick apart what you do. I was like, I had less than a second to make that decision, and you've had 2 days to watch a video in slow motion and criticize what we do. So, but it keeps a lot of cops up because like it bothered me a lot with certain situations when I started going to therapy and I started doing EMDR. We started going through like certain situations that bothered me, and a lot of it was second guessing myself and what I did. And I think the biggest thing I got out of EMDR and actually talking about that was like I made the best decision I thought I had with the second I had to make it. So yeah, man.
And EMDR, for anyone who's new that might not have been here last week, that's where you explained it great with the give us a quick explanation of EMDR. I want to actually do it.
So it's eye movement, desensitization, reprocessing. And when you go through like a traumatic event, it boxes it up and puts it in your brain and you try to forget about it. But when you like see something or smell something that reminds you of that tragic incident, or you go to sleep and you have a bad dream, it basically opens the box up and floods you with like crazy emotion, usually like panic attacks, anxiety, stuff like that. EMDR is they do it with like tapping or vibrations or sound. And with a licensed therapist, you take that box out and you unwrap it and you process, like you go through the situation kind of in pretty good detail. And it just allows your brain to process the actual event, put it back in there. So, I mean, you're going to remember it. It's going to be there forever, but it doesn't flood you with like the anxiety emotion and stuff that, nightmares and things like that have on you. It was worth it. It worked for me pretty well.
Got you there. I just wanted to send out something to someone that told me to text them when we were on. And I don't know if it's because I have too many on here, but my man Brett from NYC Crime Spot, who was on, we did a live last week, which was fucking hysterical. It was great. But shout out to Brett. Thank you for doing that episode. If you guys haven't seen that though yet, it's the last one before this one in the live. And it is, no, it's not up. I'm an idiot. I thought that I had it up. But anyway, it's the last live that we did. I did a live. got?
You know what's crazy, Lewis? I see Tracy's from London. Dude, those cops in the UK, no way you could pay me to be a cop in the UK, man. Those guys have OC spray and a nightstick and handcuffs, and that's it. And if it's an incident,
Really?
if you have an incident where you actually need a firearm, you've got to get on the radio and call the one car in your area that has like 2 or 3 guys in it they're the only ones allowed to carry guns.
That's like rent-a-cops in a way.
Yeah, those guys have it. Man, those guys are.
Wow! Holy shit! Are you fucking kidding me? You got to go in there like Dog the Bounty Hunter with mace. That's.
Yeah, I mean, I guess guns in the UK are illegal for citizens to have.
But
the amount of knife attacks they have over there is insane.
It is.
And
stabbings are crazy there.
You're going up against a freaking knife with You're going up against a knife with a nightstick or a can of OC. No, you couldn't pay me enough to do that, man.
Yeah, because then you're just beating and beating. So what? Not even tasers?
They might have tasers. I think they do have tasers now. Yeah.
I mean, but still, though, I mean, they're like, because citizens can't have guns. Okay, but like you're the police, though. Like you're serving to protect, and there's criminals that are going to figure out how to get a gun. Yeah. So what a huge disadvantage, though, that is, though, to you. I mean, you're going to walk in there, the guy has a gun, you're done. What do you do? Well, you get radio in, he has a gun. Gotta wait for him to bring the gun to you. Like that's insane. I never knew that.
Yeah.
Holy shit! I never knew that.
I've got a sister-in-law with a couple of nephews in Scotland. And they come to the U.S. Once a summer, and I take them out shooting, and they think it's the best thing because they're not allowed to do that over there. So it's pretty fun to take them to do that.
Wow, man, that's crazy. Sonny, thank you for being here, my man. Pete. Hope all is well with you, buddy. Long time. Great seeing you. Frankie, what's going on? Frankie is involved with our, he's producer of It Is What It Is, the Buffalino story, the Buffalino family. And Frankie, I don't know if you saw the footage though, but we had the real cinematographer in. We had a great fucking time with Joe Buffalino, filmed some fantastic stuff in Pittston. So stay tuned, guys. It's coming. Thank you, Frankie. Roll the bones. Chris, what's up, my man? How you doing? Thanks for being here. Chris just did an interview with Greg Scarpa Jr. You can check that out on his channel over there if you haven't seen it though yet. I actually talked to Chris today. Good guy. And I think someone said something about mental health. I could have sworn, and I don't want to miss it. Sonny. Oh, Tracy. I suffer from PTSD, anxiety disorder, and panic attacks. Yeah, a lot of people, I mean, maybe I don't know if the older I get, but like the more people I talk to and stuff like that, I mean, with the panic attacks, especially anxiety, that type of stuff, I just think our emotions start really, for me, like how you saw a picture of my pops, like it was a family reunion, everyone came in and to see him, and we're doing something special for him in 2 weeks, which I can't wait though, but it's just, you can realize that, people aren't going to be here forever and more emotions flood in and it's the anxiety creeps in and it's the older we get, the tougher it gets.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm going through that with my dad too, man, with that type A Parkinson's. It's awful. It's awful to see. Yeah.
Yeah. My grandmother though had it too, man, for like the last 8 years of her life. And what I don't want to say what I hate, but like me and her used to go, like my brother was a phenomenal basketball player and we used to always go to the games and we had a great relationship, me and my gram. And she's from Ireland. Like she would like make like certain like food from there and stuff. And she'd be like, this is what breaks my heart. I can't remember her. I remember her when she had because she had it for so long and she would just be sitting there and counting and stuff and like getting up and why. That's just a terrible disease. I'm so sorry, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the type A is hard because it takes your brain. He doesn't like shake like most Parkinson's. It's type A's. I guess it's a pretty rare form, and it basically deteriorates your brain like Alzheimer does. So yeah, it's got to the point where he doesn't know really who I am anymore and stuff like that.
Ah, man, dude. Yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. But did I talk about my panic attack at the FBI building last time? I don't know if I did. I didn't know what it was, man. I remember I was in like a classified meeting, or it was like a briefing or something. And dude, I started feeling tightness in my chest, and then I started breathing really heavy. I thought I was having a heart attack. I could have swore to God I was having a heart attack. And by the time I got 3 floors down, I walked down the steps because I didn't want anybody to see me. I didn't, so I would take the elevator. And they had a nursing station down there. And I walked in the nursing station. The first thing he does is give me baby aspirin, which is what they give people that are having heart attacks. So then I really thought I was dying. And I was blowing out so much CO2, they said, that I was just, my whole body was just shaking. And it was all, I got to the hospital and they were just like, dude, you had a full-blown panic attack. I was like, well, I don't have anxiety or panic attacks. And the doctor,
I was just going to ask, were you thinking of something that brought it on, or did this happen just boom?
I think so. So I think what happened back then was I had a high school friend, and it was probably 10 years ago now. So I was probably 45. 35 back then. And I had a high school friend pass away. I had a few high school friends start, 2 or 3 of them that passed away in their 30s. And, one of them you could explain was probably alcohol. The other one was but it was just like he got home from work and slept on the couch and didn't wake up. I started convincing myself I was dying or having a heart attack. And I think that's what threw me into the panic.
Well, the mind's a funny thing, man. Like the mind, is what, it's so powerful. Even with the old sickness with the drugs and stuff, yes, you do get sick, but your mind will make you feel like you're sick even before you're sick. It's just crazy. With the mind, what your thought process and everything like that does. It's insane. Because
after that panic attack, I started having really bad anxiety because I was having anxiety about having another panic attack because I didn't want to feel that anymore. So every time I felt a little something going on, it was crazy, man. But so I got put on some anxiety medicine, and I didn't like that, to be honest with you. And then when I went to rehab, they put me on non-narcotic anxiety medicine. But
so they put you on originally like a Xanax or a Clonopin?
Yeah, they put me. I just didn't like it, man. I liked. It made me feel like a zombie all day. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
Even if I took it at night to go to sleep, I would definitely sleep, but I'd wake up the whole next day and just feel like I was in a cloud and I couldn't work. I just couldn't. I didn't like it.
That hangover the next day, Xanny hangover. Yeah.
But after I got off everything, man, I think I was on that non-narcotic anxiety medicine for maybe 6 or 8 months, and then I just stopped taking it. And dude, ever since I got clean, I've been off everything. I don't take any medication at all, other than the daily vitamin.
Me neither. I haven't
had anxiety, dude. Other than getting on an aircraft last month, kind of start that back up.
Well, after what you've been through, folks, Keith was on the scene of that airplane crash with the helicopter with the Olympic ice skaters, and that was terrible, man.
Yeah.
You had to go and see them, get the bodies and the partials, which are evidence, arms, stuff like that, and seeing the teddy bears, and that's just. That wasn't even too long ago. How long ago was that, Keith?
February 20 something, 23rd, 28th.
Yeah, man. I mean, the people don't. That's what I'm fascinated. Obviously, I cover the underworld, and I to cover I guess you could call this the overworld. But what you guys do, and it's just astonishing to me because there's no training for it. There's not. Yeah, you go to the academy and stuff, but you don't know until it actually hits you, until you're actually on the scene. It's instant. I bet you a lot of cops froze. There's got to be cops out there where there's a shooter in the building. They froze and they want to go in.
Yeah, Loomis, you see that in training. We have these blue guns. They're called simunition guns. They're the same size, weight, everything of our regular handguns. And basically they shoot, it's like paintball, really. And we'll train with that. So we'll train force on force. And that's not going to kill. There's people that freak the fuck out just with those because they don't want to get hit by a little plastic thing. I've seen people in training run from simunitions before. Yeah.
That's crazy. So then how the hell are they ever going to deal with a real gun? Right there, how do they pass them? Eventually,
I think a lot of people just honestly, especially nowadays, I think most people, what is it? 98% of cops will never use their gun in their 20 some years or whatever. And they just bank on that 95%, man.
Yeah, until that one call comes in.
Yep.
You know, like what does Kevin Donaldson call it? He said, like, oh, a quiet night, you know,
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah,
know,
you can say that at work. Yeah.
you get that call though. Here's Dan. Dan's a veteran who served and a good friend of mine. Just got my PT test Saturday for a local department. What's the best thing to do 2 days before the run for best results? Carbs, lots of hydration, stretching. So he's got to go.
Yeah, do not overwork out before your PT test, man. Like the 48 hours before that, I wouldn't do anything. I mean, if you've been running like consistently, I wouldn't run at all. I would rest, make sure you have something good to eat the night before, and rest. A lot of people they try to. I'm actually going to I'm going to help with our PT test on this Saturday with people applying, but a lot of people, they wait till like the last 2 weeks before they really start pushing themselves to train. And by the time they get to the run, they're pretty much burnt out. But yeah, man, just good night's sleep, food, and rest, man.
Yeah, because he said here though, and this is a guy right here that he won't mind me saying though, he served and he had to put some people down and stuff like that. And he's just like an Army Ranger type mentality. Awesome. And you know, I
mean, that's awesome. We don't have enough people like Dan applying anymore, man. We don't.
Yeah, no, he's been over there. I don't know how many tours you did, Dan, but I mean, thank you for your service. He said, I've been running a lot the past 2 weeks. Well, then I would take, if it's coming up in 2 days, I would now use that as recovery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think if it's like anything like the Northern Virginia area now, I think it's 1.5 miles. I think you have to do it in less than 18 minutes. I mean,
that's what it is here. Yeah.
You can pretty much walk it, man.
And you have to
this is the thing.
I think you bench press half your weight, is it, or something like that?
Yeah, we just got to do push-ups, sit-ups, run, and then a small obstacle course that my 12-year-old could pass. But the big thing is this: like if you do sit-ups and push-ups before you run, don't max out, man. Like if they tell you have to get 30, do 32. Don't do 55 because you're just going to tire yourself out for the run. You know what I mean? Because
don't impress them though. Just do two extra.
Do a couple extra or whatever. But I mean, if you could do 100, you want to do 50, do 50. But I wouldn't completely tire yourself out until like the last thing because a lot of people do that stuff too.
Well, is the run the last thing?
It just depends on the department, man. Some people do it first. We do sit-ups, push-ups, run, obstacle course. So I guess it really just depends on the department.
I just want my city to be a better place. No, Dan, you're getting into it. I mean, where we live, it's it's getting bad, man. So I give you all the credit in the world. You're definitely the man. 1.5 miles in 13 minutes and 46 seconds, he said.
That's what you run, or is that what you have to run it in?
That's what he has to run it in.
Yeah.
Yep. So you do Kirby Park, Dan, that would be 6 times around that track in 13:46. You got this.
I mean, we had someone show up in jeans last time and try to run 1.5 miles in jeans, dude. It
showed up to really.
Yeah. But no, man. I mean, that's good. Like we don't have enough. We don't have enough people that want to do the job anymore. A lot of people are applying to police departments because they can't find a different job. I asked some people like, why did you get into law enforcement now? They're like 35 or something, and they're just like, oh, I just couldn't find another job. And I'm like, this might not be the job, man, if you're just getting in it because you can't find another job.
Yes, yeah, no, yeah, you got to have the, I'm sure too. Let me just say hello real quick to Carlos. How are you doing, my man? Thanks for being here. And I want to bring up my buddy Chris says, is this like an IST for law enforcement or military? Sorry, I missed the first part of this. No, Dan was just asking a question about PT training to get into the department, which is the physical. And also tonight's episode is called Ask a Cop. So like if you guys have any questions at all, Keith's here to answer them for you. Like if you're just curious about situations, like how they go through, how they get ready for stakeouts, how they, going through anything, just basically anything, just ask away. This is your show too. This is an open live forum. But, we also know Chris talk about, because Keith's been through addiction. I've been through addiction. We talk about that as well. But tonight's episode, again, like I said earlier, is right there. Bang. Ask a Cop with Keith Shibley. And he was on the Navy. Because you must have missed the beginning. I played the news clip. He was, he got presented an award because he was first on the scene for the Navy Yard shooting. And that's just crazy, man. Like, what? Because they had like that rented type cop right when you walked in, right? And you just step over his body.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, Keith, though, I got to ask you something, though, like, because you're very honest, I could tell. Like, when you walk in and you see that at first, I mean, is it like, let's get this guy, or is there a little fear, like, oh, like, what's your temperament?
Well, I mean, how that one was weird because it was an atrium. So you walk through the front door, and it was just 4 floors up with balconies. And I'm thinking if he's up there, like, we're all just cooked because, I mean, he had the high ground on us. And honestly, dude, you think of weird shits in situations like that. I remember stepping over him and thinking, like, because there was, actually, a big pool of blood. I was like, man, I just bought these fucking boots. And I mean, I was worried about walking through it for some reason. And I also thought it I don't know. I was like, is it disrespect? I don't know.
You thought about your boots? I don't even laugh. Fucking Keith. Oh, you're nuts.
He got weird stuff. Because we had this one guy, he committed suicide at the Reagan Airport. So what happened, the avalanches, how they have that hard shell in the back, and you could pull the seats down and crawl back there. So, I mean, it was July. I forgot when this was, man. This had to be like 2000, I don't know, 11, 12, something like that. Well, he took a bunch of sleeping pills and left a note and mixed his sleeping pills in his, I think it was gin or something. He went back there and fell asleep. He had made himself a nice bed and everything back there. And he had been back there for almost a week.
Damn.
The people just kept reporting an awful smell and stuff. And we go out there and, I mean, it was awful. And because I was an evidence tech back then too. So, yeah, man, it was just that my boots just remind me of that because when I got home from that, like you just can't get that stink. It's just,
yeah.
I mean, I remember, I got down to my boxers on my front porch and just trash bagged everything. And I think those boots were new too. So I'm not going to buy any new boots. Every time I buy new boots, something fucked up happens. So I'm just going to wear my old boots.
Yeah, stick with the old ones, man. Jesus. Tracy, I understand that you're in the UK. Loomis, Keith, Annette, and my lovely Frank. Got to sleep now. Catch you soon. Keith, you got out and singing. Ha. God bless the night. You got out and singing.
She wanted us to sing her happy birthday. I told her that she doesn't want to hear me sing at the beginning.
It's her birthday.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, my God. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Miss Tracy. Happy birthday to you and many more. Too bad I had my keyboard set up. I could have just played it on here. But
someone said that recruitment across the country is low. We can't. Back in the early 2000s, I'm not lying to you when I said when I was applying for different police departments, you would have 500, 600 applicants for 2 spots that were open, and you were fighting for those 2 spots. Now, I mean, we're 100 short, and we're picking through 50 applicants for 200 spots, and a lot of them don't pass polys and backgrounds and all that stuff. So, police recruitment is low absolutely everywhere. Nobody wants to do this job anymore. It's just, and
Keith, and thank you, Dan, for wanting to do it. And he's served, like I said, over in he was over in Iraq, all that stuff. But my point though is, what do we have? Recruiting numbers for police. So, do the cops ever kind of get desperate in a way when like there's not a lot of recruitment numbers? Like, do they get lenient, or does everyone still have to like?
Yeah.
So you're probably letting in people that really shouldn't.
Yes.
Desperation.
Yeah, that's 50% of the problem, Loomis. Their standards are being lowered to get numbers, and when something bad happens and it's on the news, everybody's kind of. We don't have we used to have training available all the time. You can't get training anymore because you don't have enough people to work the street. Because if you take people off the street to let them go train, you have nobody to fill that spot. So I can't tell you how many times I've put in for training and it's gotten denied due to staffing.
Yeah.
We don't have enough people to train like we should on a daily basis, man.
Damn, man, that's
Yeah, that's the
crazy.
other half of the problem.
OG Rube, thanks for being here, holding it down as always. I appreciate you, Ruby. Limpidiata, how you been, my man? Great to see you. Great to see you. Carlos, my man. Frank, Annette, same in England. Very few want that job. Well, after what I just heard, I don't know if you guys heard, but in England, maybe I'm just oblivious to this, and you all know, they don't have guns, the cops. That just blew my mind when Keith told me that. And in England and London, I mean, it's a violent area, man. Like you said, a lot of, stabbings. It's all like mainly stabbers over there. And so then if citizens can't have guns over there, then there's no gun shops. So, but they're still figuring out ways to get them. And could you guys believe that, like, if they pull up on a scene and there's a shooter in there, they have to call and what? And another officer will bring a gun.
Yeah, they have certain cars that patrol around with armed, usually supervisors or something. And they'd have to call like the armed, whatever they call their armed officers over there.
No shit. Lefty, what's up, buddy? I grew up with Alex, one of the cops from Bristol. Bristol, Virginia. I know that because I seen Black Sabbath at the Nissan Pavilion front row back in 2003, I believe, though. So you know where the Nissan Pavilion is, right, Keith?
Yeah.
And then I was at the Johnny Depp trial. I love that little area. That was in, what was the name of that? Fairmount. No, that's
Fairfax, Virginia.
Fairfax, Virginia. Yeah, that was a beautiful little town there. I had a great old time. And then CT. What do you mean CT? Lefty, elaborate on that, my man. Here we go. You meet many bent cops, Keith?
Yeah. Yep. I might be one. You mean bent with like just how everything's working? Yeah, it's I'm excited to get through my last 4 years, man.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I hear you there. Oh, you meant Bristol, Connecticut, Lefty. I got you. I should have known that because that's where you're at. Sonny the Godfather, my man, Songfather, Connecticut. Okay. Got you. I was thinking Bristol, Virginia, because Keith's from Virginia. So that's why I
think Bristol, Connecticut was where that school shooting was. That was awful. And then you got like that one school shooting in, was it Texas? Where they didn't
There's been so many, Keith, to be honest with you.
It was that big one where they didn't go in for like 30 minutes. They sat in the hallway. I forgot which one that one. That one was bad, man.
How about the one though that went in there though? Wasn't it like a transsexual or whatever? And she went in there and started shooting kids.
Yeah.
Where was that at?
I don't remember. Those cops did a great job on that one though.
They did. I saw the footage though. He went right up, boom, took her right out. I mean, that's just so sick, man. That's parents send their kids to schools these days, even just going to the mall these days, or where like this world's nuts, man. Like it's insane. And London police officers, I mean, Jesus, like, I wonder what their pay is. I mean, like, that's such a disadvantage, man. Like, because people are still getting guns over there somehow. And I understand the citizens part, but how the fuck can a cop have a gun? That blows my mind. Then this is in London.
That's crazy, man.
London, you said, right?
Yeah, all of the UK usually.
Oh, Keith, when she said bent, she said corrupt.
Oh, so honestly, very few. When I was in Richmond, we had a few that were. I mean, you had a couple people that would like race to the homicides because
hit that like button, Dan. Thank you for being here again. Go ahead, Keith.
Some people race to homicides because you know. More than likely, they were drug dealers. And they would try to go through their pockets and take cash. But it wasn't a lot at all. At least I didn't see it. And then you had some. I don't know if it's well, no, it's messed up, man. There was one guy that was awful, and I knew him really well, and I had no fucking clue. But he got locked up at work in his police uniform for trying to pick up a 14-year-old kid that was an actual detective from the neighboring county.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So
in uniform?
He got arrested in uniform. Yeah.
No, but I mean, he was trying to pick up the kid in uniform as a cop.
It was online. Yeah, I mean, I think some of it was in uniform, some of it was out of uniform. It was messed up, but
oh God,
it's
catch a predator type shit. Yeah.
But as far as like big time corruption in the departments I've been in, I haven't seen it. Most people are.
Well, a friend of mine that I know though pretty well, and I love the documentary. I don't know. Did you ever see the 7-5 with Mike?
Yeah,
Dowd?
yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, I know, Mike. And actually, we were supposed to do a sit down in New York City, but then my tire blew and he had to get a flight. But I have to ask you, man, like, if you walk into a building, like, if it's just you and a partner you trust, man, and like, you find a bet, $150,000, like that, there's no temptation at all.
So this is the way I look at it, right? So I figured out how much I make a year, how much I'll make in retirement if I live 20 years. And it has to be more than that for me to fucking even try to take it. Because if not, it's just not even worth it. Like, I'm not going to lose my job for $100,000.
Yeah.
You can make that in a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, now if I found a bag with like 5 million unmarked bills, I might call you from fucking Mexico. I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, and Mike didn't give a shit to him. Like Mike, I mean, and in New York City, though, I mean, he got actually hooked up. Like the one guy said, the one gangster was like, dude, he was a gangster, like with a badge on, like he was, and then they were like,
he was stupid. He was buying fucking Ferraris and Corvettes and driving them to work.
In them.
Like, dude, you're an NYPD cop. You're not making enough to buy a fucking brand new Corvette.
Yeah, like he just didn't give a fuck. Then I mean, he would have way served his time, and now he's out like in the podcast world. But I mean, yeah, he's a character, man, to say the least. Jordan Stanley goes, Keith. What's up,
yeah,
Jordan?
man. Jordan's. I grew up with, man. That's way back in my Arrington Road days, man. I grew up with Jordan and his brothers, man. They lived right across the street. Jordan's a veteran. Jordan's a Marine Corps veteran.
Oh, nice, Jordan. Thank you for your service, my man. Thank you for your service, and thank you for being here. Folks, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. You hit that like button, it helps get this moving. Would really appreciate it. I never ask for donations or anything. Just hit the hit the like.
Unless you find a bag of money, then you can donate.
Yep. Oh, look at this. The Suffering Podcast. I'm whacking it, Kevin.
That's funny, Kevin.
Keith, did you ever have Lebanon bologna? Lebanese, dude. What about Rock Kibbe? That's what I love.
Yeah.
Rock Kibbe, because I dated a girl who was Lebanese, her family, and they would have the Rock Kibbe with the whatever they were, like not tortilla, but oh God, was it good?
It's good food, man.
Oh my God.
It's a lost art. All the younger generation doesn't know how to make it like the grandparents did.
Yeah. Well, that's why, the grandparents are supposed to teach the other generation exactly how to do it. So could you make it?
Can I?
No.
I wasn't allowed in the Lebanese kitchen.
No, but you're Lebanese.
I know, but no, I don't know how to make any. I do make some stuff. Me and my daughter used to make Lebanese food together, like back when she was younger. I haven't made it in a long time though. Maybe I'll break it out one day. But my mom can still cook like a champ, man.
Yeah, learn that shit from her, man.
But you only get that stuff on like special occasions. It takes so long to make now. It's like nobody makes it unless it's a special occasion. But they had the Lebanese food festival at my church a couple weeks ago down in Richmond, and I drove down there for that. That was amazing food, though.
Yeah, nice. See,
Kevin loves Lebanese bologna, apparently.
Salute, Loomis. Grazie, man. William at Brooklyn. What's up, my friend? Thanks for being here. Hit that like button, guys. We appreciate you. Jordan Stanley said thank you. Yep, Kevin said he loves it. He absolutely does love it, though. Sonny threw out something that says Bobbies. You might want to elaborate on that, Sonny. I don't know what Bobbies are. Do you know what Bobbies are, Keith?
No idea. Oh, yeah. The UK cops are called Bobbies.
Oh, there you go. Okay, Sonny.
Yep.
Sonny with the knowledge. Kevin, could you believe, and I know you know this, that the cops over in the UK, they can't even have guns. Like that just blew my mind. Are they even allowed these? They have to be allowed knives, right? But then you're doing a knife battle, though. It's so intimate. And like You think someone thinks, oh, I got a knife, I'll stab someone. They don't go right down. Unless you're like, exactly. I mean, in prisons and stuff, like knife fighting, depending on how you do it, if you go up like this, and it takes time. Just because you put a knife into someone doesn't necessarily mean they're going
I
down.
don't know if I can do that, man. That's a whole nother level of violence that I don't know if I could do. But.
Yeah, like if I was like a hitman and because there's been hitman out there though that they would kill with a knife, and that's to me is just a whole different level than just shooting for, like, you ever see the movie Killing Them Softly? Brad Pitt's like, I like to kill them softly. I like to kill them from a distance because they complain, they cry. Well, yeah, what do you expect? He's like, I can't. He was great. That's a great movie. James Gandolfini from The Sopranos is in that.
Yeah,
he basically plays like Tony Soprano. He's the alcoholic.
That's what I wanted to ask you, man. So we were talking about like anxiety with like cops and stuff. Do you find it with interviewing people from like the mafia world?
No.
Did they have the same? They didn't. Not at all. Like,
well,
as far as killing or worrying about being killed or all that stuff, do they have like the same, like, because like The Sopranos, you see it where he has to go to a therapist, and I know probably definitely the old school.
In real life, he would be in the back of a trunk because you're not supposed to do that, and it's a TV show and they're made for great writing, But
I would assume some of them would have anxiety.
I'm sure they do, but a lot of them they don't. Like, a guy like Anthony Aralotta, who I spent time with like 10 days up at his house. Most of the gangsters, the real ones that I met and hung out with, and the ones that I know, they're very health conscious. Anthony's the one that got me on Celtic sea salt. They're very healthy. Even look up Whitey Bulger. He would take a nap after killing someone. It was a stress. Kevin Weeks said it was like he ate a Valium because now the guy's finally dead. He would probably have anxiety until he got him killed. But after he would kill him, go upstairs, and he'd look at Stevie, throw him the pliers to pull the teeth. Kevin Weeks would be digging up the fucking ground, burying him, and Whitey would go upstairs, just lay down on the couch and fucking take a nap. Right after killing someone, just take a nap.
That's crazy.
So what I find though with most gangsters is, at least the ones that I met, they're extremely health conscious. Some of them are even to the point of like, Anthony's very health conscious. Whitey, he would even like touch like the rails and shit and stuff. He actually beat the shit out of someone at the what's it called? Where they hung out at. The guy was eating like a cheeseburger and put it on the hood of his car. And like, there's one book where they're talking about he's sitting across from somebody eating a burger and he's like grinding. That's what he used to do. He'd grind his teeth. He'd be like, how the fuck could you fucking, like, he would, if Kevin Weeks said it best, he's like, we were like victims to any vice out there at all. Like, you couldn't be out there drinking. You couldn't. And I understand that, because when you're drinking, the mouth starts flowing. You're laying with a woman. See, a lot of guys think, and they think it impresses a woman. I learned this too. Some mob guys will lay down. You're laying in bed with a girl, yeah, I did this, I did that. They let their guard down a little bit, thinking that it impresses them, and it could backfire on them. But to answer your question, it's crazy. Even the ones who cooperated and are out now in the streets, nope, not on any medications or nothing that I know of.
Yeah.
Are they? I don't know. I mean, I know they're not on heavy drugs, because I know when someone's on opiates and shit like that, but are they on any anxiety meds, this or that? I don't know, because you got to remember, these mob guys, like you even said, you couldn't go talk to your department because it was the old school mentality. Well, these mob guys don't have that old school mentality, and very, very very healthy. Like Anthony's, I won't say your age, Ant, but he still looks like he could be like in his 40s and stuff. You could just see like his skin, like he's just so healthy. And like when he would cook there at the house, always very health conscious, very healthy. So, and that's just one that I'm naming though. But like I said, I know how Whitey Bulger was. He didn't want none of his crew drinking. Stephen Fleming, who was a psychopath, who was the number two, his number would be his number one. He was very, very health conscious as well, and was like all into smoothies and stuff. So yeah, it's odd. I don't think so, because they can't let their guard down or whatever. But what's crazy is a lot of guys that get in the mob, when it's time to kill someone, though, I heard stories like, that they're like fuck. But then afterwards, they were like, all right, like they feel like this power. And then it just comes natural to them. Because there's guys out there, though, that, like, you know, would not have been that, like a Larry Mazza. Like, people even said, what's the line? Oh, if a sweetheart of a guy like Larry Mazza can fucking blow someone's brains out, anyone can. Because, I mean, he's the one, though, that met Greg Scarpa. Yeah. And you're working with Greg Scarpa. I mean, you're putting in work. But he, so, like, I would say, like, in the beginning, like, you know, before they actually do their kill, I can't speak for all of them, but I mean, something's got to be going on. Something, because all of them who sign up, I'm not talking about like the Tommy Karates and the Roy DeMayos and Whitey Bulgers and stuff, but all of them who sign up for that life initially, they didn't, though. A lot of them didn't kill people, and that's, you got to get made. You got to kill someone. So I would think, but they're not gonna show that. They're not gonna say that. I remember
I guess one of the big difference between like that and the law enforcement thing is like from the very beginning, alcohol was encouraged on almost a daily basis, and it sounds like with them it wasn't. But yeah, I mean it was.
No, I mean they'd have their drinks though and stuff like that and sit around and all that though, but not get like crazy fucking flabbergasted drunk. I mean, there's been ones out there that I know of, but because in their reliability, you got to remember, you got to be on your toes in that life. Yeah. And if you're out drinking, running amok, and you wake up the next day and you're like, oh my God, I did that. Like, just imagine like, I know how I would be if I was in the mob. I'd probably be, I'd be paranoid because like your best friend who kills you. So it's at all times, man, you got to be tip top. So most of those guys, like I was just saying, with Anthony, when I stayed with him every morning in the car, go to the gym, he'd have to take a steam, and he's in there with the steam and his razor shaving and stuff like that, and hitting on like every day routine. And then nothing but water with Celtic sea salt. And, I'm sure there's a lot of them that pigged out and did whatever, but for the most part, the discipline and you got to be on your toes at all fucking times. And it's a different ball game. It's not, see what you guys are doing though too is, see when you're in the mafia, like you gotta kill someone. When you're a cop, you don't know, but you did, right?
I guess it's all. I mean, all cop stuff. It's all reactionary too.
You took a life, right?
It's just. I mean, a cop's not going to go out there and be like, "Okay, I've got to kill this guy." Usually, it's all reactionary. So you're usually behind the curve because you've pretty much literally got to wait for someone to present a threat before you're even allowed to react to it. You know what I mean?
Wyatt Bogart, yes, Keith is a cop who's been through a lot. The Navy Yard shooting, the helicopter plane crash with the Olympic skaters, all that stuff. I played the video in the beginning, though. He's seen some shit. Keith, if you don't mind me asking, did you ever have to put someone down?
I was so we were, my partner, it was a robbery and we were involved and he took some shots at us and we shot back. But he ended up going around the shed, and as we were pieing the shed, he ended up deciding to do the final one himself. But
okay,
yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I got you.
So he was hit. He was hit a few times and went behind the shed and just decided that he wasn't going to go to jail.
And for you though, that didn't really mess you up your mind, right?
I mean, not really.
Yeah, we're just being
it was
honest.
just that's why I like what I do when I talk about like I
love your honesty. Like I love that
when I talk about like the stuff that bothered me, it for some reason I think it didn't really rise up there to that level. I mean, he took a couple shots at my partner, and I mean, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Pete, I'll get right back.
That was very early on. That was 2006-ish.
Gotcha. Oh, look at Sonny said out there, no knives either, just their club, and most they do have tasers. Kevin said Camden Yard, they have guns, but they're very well hidden.
Yeah, they're like the Camden Yards people are like their I guess kind of like their FBI.
I know. I have friends who are Scotland Yard. So, man, that's crazy. And Kevin Noah was a cop, and he was on. If you guys didn't see the episode, Post Traumatic Success, and he went through a crazy incident that and turned himself around. What do you got here, Pete? I think they just learned to cope because they live in a state of paranoia and anxiety. Oh, you're talking about the mobster. Yeah. And Anthony, this is what I wanted to say about Anthony. I got COVID when I left there, and it was terrible. I was puking. I was so sick. I was this and that. And I remember, like, I called him up, and I'm like, dude, blah, blah, blah. He's like, listen, nobody cares. Don't be telling the world that you're sick. Nobody fucking cares. Get through it. You got to be a fucking man. Like, so that's like their mentality. Like, it's more, you can't show weakness. And it's kind of, it goes back to when you said in your department now there was no one to talk to. Like, you had to just bury that shit. And then you guys would have choir practice outside. Mm-hmm. Choir practice, folks, is like where after the shift was over with Keith and his, with the cops, they would pull up lawn chairs and just drink and just talk. And like, that's how they would, like, I guess, get through whatever. But there was no one noticed. Like, now it's different. Now it's different. That's why it took you so long to ask for help, correct?
I mean, yeah, there was no way I was going to ask for help until my wife made me, really. And it's just it's an ego thing and a pride thing, man. It's hard to me, asking for help was weakness, and I didn't want to feel weak, I guess. So yeah, I wanted to stop doing what I was doing. I wanted to stop using pills. I wanted to stop using alcohol. But I couldn't do it on my own. I didn't know how to do it. And thankfully, my wife made me make a phone call, or she gave me the ultimatum. It was make the phone call or, her and the kids. And I wasn't about to lose my family over that shit. So I made the phone call. It's probably one of the best things I've done, man. But it was hard. It was really hard to make a phone call like that. It was.
And this lady here, Jen May, though, she was the one though that was kick ass, right? Like,
yeah, she was my boss at the FBI. She's an amazing lady, man. Yeah, she helped me out a lot. She was very supportive. She was probably she was the most supportive person that helped me get through that stuff, man. So,
and that's Keith there, though, out in, where was this at, Keith? You were going out and talking to people?
I think Minneapolis.
Just telling them basically your story and how to try to cope with things.
Yeah, man, it's just trying to get cops to realize that, it's, you can ask for help, and it doesn't, make you weak, or it doesn't make you any less of a officer to ask for help. Man.
I always say I came from a town where the true tough guy, was the one that knocked someone out in the bar. The true tough guy is someone that could actually open up, because it's not easy to do, and it's going to save your life. All this tough guy facade bullshit. You got to put that to the side, man, because you're a liability, man, if you're out there using constantly too, and you're, because you're afraid to say or whatever, and you're not in tip-top shape, and you're a cop, you got guns, you're fucking this or that. So you would think that they would encourage to speak up. You know what I mean?
So, but it's also, even to this day, it's hard for some people to do it. And I'm very vocal about my substance abuse and recovery. So a lot of people call me, and I got a phone call the other day, and I could just tell it was very hard for that person to call me just the other day, man,
Yeah.
So it's a scary thing to do, dude. Go into a rehab or detox as a law enforcement officer, not knowing who's going to be in that detox or rehab, is scary as shit. Because when I was with the feds, I locked up people in a lot of states. I locked up a lot of people in New York. I locked a lot of people up in, well, not a lot, but I locked a few up in New Jersey, a lot in Florida, Texas. So my main concern when I went to detox in New Jersey was, what the fuck's going to happen if I'm locked in this place and then someone walks in that, I put away for a couple of years. It'll probably pop, because I can't remember the face after in 23 years of law enforcement, I cannot remember the face of everybody I put in jail. But you bet your ass the people I've put in jail remember my face as
Oh yeah,
that put
yeah.
me. So I might not even recognize them, man. And it's just, yeah, it's not a warm feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, at least though, it's not like prison though. Just they can figure out how to get shanks in there, but you're a wild one though. You say though, you're not the biggest guy, but you throw down though.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah. I don't know if throwing down while you're detoxing would have been fun, but
No, that's true. Yeah, no.
it was. It's just. And I mean, a lot of cops have that fear now, like going to the mall, or people that live in the same county or city that they work. They go to the mall or they go to a Best Buy, and I mean, eventually you're going to run into somebody that doesn't like you very much.
You ever run into somebody though that maybe came up to you and said, "You know what? After everything, you saved my life. You saved my life."
A few, yeah. So one of the better ones was it was a 15 or 16-year-old kid in Richmond, and I got him at 2:00 in the morning. He had a small 380 on him. He had about $1,500 and just a whole fucking bag of rocks. He probably had 20, 30, 40 rocks in a bag. And I had the same discussion with all the juveniles I arrested. So basically, in Virginia, you have to have a point system to go to juvenile. He didn't have enough points, so we actually had to call his mom. We still charged him, but we had to call his mom instead of taking him to juvenile hall. And I met the mom, and the kid didn't have a shot in hell, man. I mean, the mom was obviously a user and stuff, and she was more concerned about the 15. She's like, "That's my rent money. I told him to hold it." I'm like, "Lady, it's crack money. It's not rent money." But I had to talk with him. I'm like, "Where do you?" I had to talk 1,000 times. It worked once. I said, when you get to be like 40 or 50, like, you want to be like, sit on a porch with your family, or do you want to be, dead or in jail or whatever? And we talked about it for a while. And 2 years later, I was working the front desk. It was when I had my cast on, when I busted my hand up down there. And kid came back a couple years later at 17 and a half in a full Marine Corps uniform, and said that whatever we said that night made him realize he needs to get the hell out of Richmond. And he waited till he was like 17 and a half, joined the Marine Corps, gone. So
man. Yeah, no, I mean, that's gotta though feel good. No, I mean, you're just doing your job. You're not you're probably different when you're younger, just looking to arrest. I remember when I talked to Mike Segru when he first started, he was like, I was the type that just, I don't care, I'm arresting you, blah, blah, blah. But now he's like,
dude, when I was in Richmond in my early 20s, I was an asshole. I was that dick. I was the dick cop. That was definitely me. But as the years go by, you really learn that, like,
empathy.
But most of the people, if you just treat them like a freaking normal person, they'll tell you whatever the fuck you want to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you treat them decently. But it was, I mean, yeah, early 20s, man. I mean, your brain, apparently, I don't know shit. Didn't do well in school, but apparently male brains are completely formed to 25-ish.
Yeah.
You're out there at 21, 22 with, trying to make those decisions or whatever. But yeah, if I look back at some of the stuff I did in my early 20s, and it's embarrassing, man, to be honest with you. Just the way I didn't do anything like criminal or anything like that, but when people start coming at you and you start coming at them, and it's just it never really works. It never works out well.
Yep, Jordan goes hoorah.
It wasn't Jordan that was the Marines. It was somebody else.
But will still charge you, so keep your mouth shut and lawyer up. That's why I say you have the right to remain silent.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure they try talking to you before getting the lawyer to see what they could get out of you when they get you back to the station.
You wouldn't believe people. Most people will talk to you, though. Most people will tell you. Most people will sit down and talk to you, especially if they think they're smarter than you and they're, whatever. They'll sit down and talk to you, but they always end up getting tripped up. I rarely had people that would lawyer up right away. Rarely.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this: now, someone who you catch them like buying some fucking fentanyl or heroin or whatever it is at the time. A lot of them know, because I know how that goes down, because it just happened to me 3.5 years ago. And obviously I took the charge, but I'm saying they were like, who did you get from? Blah, blah, blah.
They usually flip.
They flip?
They usually do. Most people
Yeah.
will tell on their mamas before they want to go to jail.
Yeah.
Most people. I mean, that's how you
I
get.
bet a lot of them are on here always yelling rats, rats, rats.
Yeah.
They're the ones that actually do flip.
Yep.
The ones you yelled at. I look at it though, like, I had a possession charge and I was in sheets and I was nodding out and a cop came in, and now me and him are cool. He loves the show, and like we talk to this day. He arrested me. I didn't even realize it when I woke up though. I threw the paraphernalia in the toilet. The door is still closed, but I got hit though with getting rid of evidence, which was close to a felony, all that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. But I went to rehab afterwards, and he told the judge, hey, because they wanted me to like cooperate. And I'm like, listen, I'm the one that went and bought this. Like it's on me, I'm not going to fucking for a paraphernalia charge. How long am I going to go away for? So that's funny though, that most people flip.
They do. And it's weird, man. Cause like when I was in the rooms going all the time, you would hear fuck the police a lot. And I would just sit back and kind of chuckle. And then I get to talking to him like after the meeting or whatever. And I'm like, let me ask you a question. What got you to the 12-step program? And they're like, well, I'm tired of fucking going to jail. I'm like, so basically the last cop that put you in jail saved your life. And then they just look at me and they were like the light bulb goes off. I'm like, if they would have just left you alone, you'd probably be dead right now, right? And they were like, yeah. Well,
if I didn't get arrested that time, I would have been gone.
Yeah. So you're sitting here saying fuck the police, but him putting you in jail got you clean, and now you're happy as shit, and you have a whole new freaking, start on life. And they're like, oh, I didn't.
Well, yeah, and then also too, though, at least on the one felony thing though was dropped though because of it was weird, man. Like the door was closed. I don't even know how he said, but I mean, I did it, and but he was real cool. He was talking to me outside. I was upset obviously because I was hiding it though from my fiance at the time. And it's when I was living up in Dallas. And then the second though they put me down in the room, they're like, listen, calm down. All you got to do is just tell us where you got it from. And I'm like, I got it from me. Like, what do you mean? They're like, we'll drop everything. And then they're like, and then what we'll do is we'll give you money, and then fucking you make a buy, and then we'll match this. I'm like, what? I go, what am I looking at too, by the way? And they're like, well, this is like for a paraffin first offense or whatever. I wasn't even like looking at prison time. Especially with a good lawyer, I would have fucking just had a house arrest or whatever. But even if I was, I mean, I took responsibility for it, and that was in October. And because I was in rehab 6 times that year and 5 detoxes, and this was during the pandemic of 2021. And then in October of 2021, I went in, and then I've been sober since that. So and I was basically, that was fentanyl. So, and I was out, man, like, I fucking threw the fucking needle in the toilet, the whole fucking 9. And looking back on that, if he didn't arrest me, because when you do fentanyl, it's Russian roulette every time. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's even the odds are even worse than Russian roulette. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he did those. Like when I look back, it's funny. Like you get so freaked out at first, like blah blah blah. But in the grand scheme of things, he definitely saved my fucking life. And I didn't just go away though either though because I got it. I mean, it was definitely a motivating factor to go to rehab though and get clean afterwards and stuff like that because I really didn't want that on my record and this and that for jobs and all that type of stuff. But he dropped that charge and I just got hit with it's on my record now. I just got hit though with the paraphernalia. But no, I wasn't. I'm not going to cooperate. I'm not going to set someone up though because
going back, like Pete wrote, keep your mouth shut and lawyer up. If any of my friends or family or something ended up doing something illegal or got caught in a jam, and I've had phone, you don't know how many people call you over the years when they get in trouble. They're like, hey man, I got a question. I tell them all the same thing, man. Don't say a fucking word and get a lawyer.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing good's going to come out of, that's horrible for the cop to say, but nothing good's going to come out of you, just giving them You know,
Let me add.
Their job, it's my job as a cop to figure it out on my own. And if I can't do it, then
I have a good question for you. You've been through hardcore addiction. So when you arrest someone with whether it's perks, well, fentanyl, I mean, I even say if someone's on the street selling fentanyl, beat them down with a fucking bat. There's no street code for that. You know what I mean? This and that. But did it make you a little bit more empathic towards them since you experienced?
Yeah. I mean, I had once we had an overdose in one of the bathrooms at Reagan, and there was a brand new supervisor. He called me because this was right when I went to K9, and he was a detective. You know, he was like, "I know you're a detective." He goes, He goes, "What do I do?" And it was a guy in like 28 maybe. He was in the wheelchair stall, all the way up against the wall with a needle in his groin, and he had been dead for probably an hour or so. Yeah. So I was like, all right, first thing I do is get all these people out of here. And everybody wants to go see. It's like nobody needs to see shit. Get them the fuck out. Tape it off. And while they were doing that, I guess I was a little visibly upset. I don't remember it or whatever. But somebody came up to me and said, like, "What's wrong, man?" I was like, "No." I was like, "Nothing, man." I was like, "This just sucks." And he was like, "Why are you so upset? It's just a junkie, bro." Loomis, I lost my shit on him, man. It was another guy. I lost my shit on that dude, and I went after him. Yeah, he pissed me off. I'm like, dude, you have no idea what that kid went through to get to where he is. I guarantee you, his life goal was not to be dead at a bathroom with a needle in his fucking groin. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. It and then years later, I think it was playoffs last year, the year before. I do bomb dog stuff, so I don't really arrest that many people at all anymore. But it just so happened there was like a bag it was like a suspicious bag, so our dog went and smelled it, and I guess the other officers were tied up. So I was like, I'll just take the bag and inventory it, and I'll put it in property or whatever. And I took the bag back and I opened it up, and right when I opened it up, I was like, motherfucker, man, fucking crack pipes, crack scales, capsules, and I was like, it's either heroin or fentanyl or whatever. So, like a good junkie, like we all were, 15 minutes later, this lady calls and says, "Hey, I lost my bag. Do you have it?" And I was like, describe the bag, and it was the bag. So yeah, dude. So I'm telling you. So I was with another younger guy, and I said, "Hey, man, take this bag down there and say, is this your bag?" And if she says yes, you got just put her in cuffs and detain her, and then I'll come down. And so he took the bag down. She goes, "Yeah, that's my bag." She goes, "That's my bag." So put her in handcuffs. I go down.
Fuck? Are you kidding me?
And she had a lot, bro. She probably had like
she thought you guys are just going to be like, "Oh, do we have the police? Here you go. Take your scale," because that's they're obviously selling that there's a scale involved.
Yeah. So she had big. It wasn't crack rocks. It was a chunk of crack that obviously she's going to cut up later and sell. But so I sat down and talked to her. I said, I told her, I was like, "What's in those capsules?" Because I touched it. Is it fentanyl or is it heroin? She goes, "Do not touch it." I was like, "Shit, it's fentanyl probably." I'm pretty sure I had gloves on too, but sometimes, man, I was really worried about my dog because my dog went nose in the bag to see if it was a bomb. So, we carry Narcan for our dogs anyway, for our dogs and people that need them. But
so everyone knows right now, though, you're a canine officer right now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So I sat down and just talked to her, man, and she was like, "It's not mine. My bag was missing for an hour. Somebody must have put that in there." And I'm like, "Come on, lady. Like, this isn't my third day at work. You know what I mean?" So I told her, I said, "Look, you got crack, you got scales, you got a pipe, you got pills." I said, "I can give you one simple possession charge, and you can tell me the truth, or I can go look at cameras. But if I have to spend the next 2 hours looking at cameras," I was like, "I'm going to charge you with everything." And she was fine. Like, it was mine. And I just sat down and talked to her, man. I was like, "Have you ever been clean?" She's like, "Yeah, I was clean for 2 years." I'm like, "What happened?" She told me what happened. And I was just like, I told her, I said, "Dude, I don't know if you, believe in the higher power stuff, but I don't do this shit. And there's a reason I'm here today because I don't normally do this." So I charge her with one simple possession. I don't give a shit, man. I'd rather you get clean than fucking, say I got 6 warrants on you.
Yeah.
And she had I think she had 3 years comeback time in Georgia. She had an outstanding warrant out of Georgia. So she was definitely going to do 3 years in Georgia. And, usually it takes a couple months to get dope, to get to the lab, to test it, then court, all the preliminary, all that stuff. So I said, I know for a fact the jail you're going to has a NA program. I said, you go to that NA program. And I actually know the lady running the NA program. I said, if you stay sober for the next 60 days or whatever until court comes up, I said, I'll just dismiss this shit. I don't care.
Nice.
Went to court and she was clean, dude. She looked great. She looked like a whole different person just after 60 days. And I said, I'm going to dismiss it. You're going to have to go do your however many years in Georgia, but I hope you stay clean or whatever. So yeah, dude, back in the day, it would have just been let me see how many warrants I can get. But yeah, it ain't like that anymore, man. It's like a different job, dude. You know what I mean?
Man. I mean, that's crazy though. She came back though for it though. But the thing is this though, when I was on Kevin's show, he was even George Carlin says 99% of the beginning is what he called pleasure, 1% pain, but then it turns around. There's no one out there who starts doing drugs that wants to be putting needles in their arm and this and that. They're not all yes, this is what I want. It just happens. So that's why I asked you that, because you went through your addiction, and I figured that made you see things different in people.
Yeah, and I would have argued. Before it happened to me, I would have argued that addiction was a choice. Until it grabbed me, but I had a spinal injury and went to a doctor, man. Doctor gave me opiates, and that was it, baby. It was over immediately.
Keith, do you have someone typing for you?
No, I tried to type that.
That's you?
Yeah.
I mean, you're good, man. You're inconspicuous. How you doing, Sherry? Great to see you here as always. Sherry had a great episode with I saw on the Suffering podcast.
Sherry is an amazing freaking person, dude.
I'd love to have her on the show. I don't think she'd do my show, but if she ever wanted to, the door's definitely open.
If that story doesn't inspire you that you can get through fucking anything, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, Sherry, my door is always open for you, but I know you do bigger stuff and all that stuff, and I don't have the biggest show, but my door is always open. And I also take pride in when I make a fucking video or whatever, the editing of it and all that stuff, I make it a mini documentary. So yeah. Mr. Loomis, of course I would do your show. Oh, wow. All right. Yeah, definitely. We'll set that up. Thank you, Sherry. Yeah, she, you look at Sherry and you would never think, that what she's been through. I just, not saying that I judge people by how they look or anything like that, but I was holy shit. And
I sat through her class. I went with her and Kevin. When they did one of their classes down in Georgia, and holy shit, man. I thought with 22 years of law enforcement, I knew what I was doing, questioning someone that has had extensive trauma. I knew absolutely fucking nothing, and I was doing it all wrong. So yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, everybody needs to, if everybody could take that class in law enforcement, they should. It's an amazing class. But yeah, man, I was just damn.
What was it again, though, Keith? I think you said though, because I'm gonna be honest with you, folks, and Keith, no disrespect, but we talk behind the scenes and stuff, and if you were born in a mob area, I think you would have definitely been a street guy.
Yes,
just being honest, that's your mentality. But my question to you though is, you just always know from when you were raised and how you've been in the area you went though, you always know just wanted to be a cop, right? In high school, you already knew you wanted to be a cop. Yeah. Not army or nothing, just cop.
So, I mean, it was kind of both. It was kind of both, military or law enforcement. It was definitely more law enforcement. It was probably 70-30. But, when I went to a military high school, and then I did some ROTC the couple years I was in college, it kind of it squashed the military for me. I was done with military stuff. Now, this was in the 90s, and I didn't know a freaking war was coming, or I probably would have gone that route. But I have no idea why. I have no idea why why the law enforcement bug got me so early, man.
Yeah.
I
It's
was
just something
never,
that
I
just
was
came
never into,
natural
like,
to you know. Oop.
I thought
And
it's always it's all like it's like being it's half of it. So you talk to some people that steal shit all the time, like shoplifters, and some of them like don't need to steal shit, and they do it for the high of stealing shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they do it for the adrenaline rush, and it's the same with being a cop, man. I mean, you're sitting there eating your freaking donut and drinking your coffee, and 2 seconds later you're going 110 miles an hour with, you know what I mean? It's fun. It's
no, you got that wild side.
Yeah.
What's up, Dan Larrock? Great show. Thanks for being here, Dan. Yeah, the reason though I wanted to do these weekly things with Keith is because naturally, any of you who are subscribed or know the show, you know, I talk a lot about the underworld. I know a lot of people in the underworld, but it's just great though to get both sides, you know. And what I learned though too is a lot of cops are even like, you know, a little fascinated though with that stuff though too in a way,
Fuck
you
yeah,
know.
dude. I love mafia stuff. I've always been fascinated with mafia stuff, man.
Yeah.
It could have definitely, if I grew up in a different area, it probably could have definitely gone like a different way. Probably.
That's what makes you, I think, like, so if you guys don't watch though this episode that is in the video section, Fighting Crime and Demons, where it's all edited up, and Keith is no, that was our live last week, but oh yeah, right here. It's in the video section. I could see how you were an incredible UC undercover.
Yeah, that's what, dude. It was so fun. It was just fun. You play, I mean,
And, you know, and we took a white supremacist neo-Nazi off the street who was going to kill a bunch of people just because they were, you know, different skin color and shit. Like that's what's up, man.
It was
Fuck
definitely
that guy.
It's a big that's you can't buy doing like you can't buy that high on the shelf, man. That's a
Yeah, but you also said though that you, because you know you were, you know, you build a rapport with him even though he was a neo-Nazi. You said it did affect you though when you got busted. Like,
yeah, man, because it also goes back to like I was always brought up, you don't fuck over your family or your friends, you know, and it's all befriending somebody and then fucking them over in like the most egregious way.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a weird emotion that I didn't anticipate the first
Next
time.
week I'm gonna have though make sure I'm gonna put the footage up though of him buying it and stuff. We'll show the people, but he was getting that gun. What kind of gun was it?
AK-47.
AK-47 off you, and he was getting that, and like he was going to kill.
He thought, which a lot of white supremacists do. They think it's called RAHOA, the racial holy war.
Okay.
They're convinced that the racial holy war is coming. It's been coming for 50 years now, but you know, to most of these guys,
and they truly are convinced. Like it's not like, oh, I just wanted to know. Yeah,
they're convinced it's coming. And yeah, man, we did the search warrant in his house. He had like those circular 70-round drum magazines for that thing too, man. And he probably had, I think he had something like 5,000 rounds in his house. So yeah, with a fully auto AK, he could have done a lot of damage with that thing.
No, he wasn't getting it to wait for it. Like he was getting the gun to start popping people off.
Well, he didn't come out and say he was doing it tomorrow, but he said that he's doing it because the racial holy war was coming. And that's what like when we talked to the U.S. attorney, they're like, seriously, man, the racial holy war? And I'm like, dude, I think it's funny as shit too, but this guy thinks it's real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he could be watching The Simpsons and Bart says something, and in his brain that could key, oh my God, that's the start of it. And then he goes out.
I was just gonna say that at any given time he could just be watching something that just sets him off, and that's dangerous to have out there and just start popping people off just because of different skin color. That neo-Nazi shit I fucking hate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people yell like the R word or whatever, this or that, though. Like, you know, someone like that, they need to get off the fucking street.
100%.
I don't give a fuck what anyone says. And also, too, so is he still away?
Oh, no, he didn't get a lot of time, man.
No, so did he ever try to reconnect with you, or did he know who you are?
So, yeah, he knew it was me after like testimony and stuff. This guy was odd, man. It was, you know, I guess like the good part was he was a felon. He can't own guns anymore, but any bad guy can really get him.
Yeah.
But it was crazy. It was crazy, man. Like, we had him on wiretap saying that he was married. His wife was a sweetheart, man. Like, she was disabled. He was actually talking about killing her because she couldn't give him the white Aryan babies that he should have. Yeah. And then we told her and let her, and she's like, oh, he's just crazy. He didn't really mean that. Like,
I mean, brainwashing that could go on, though, that they don't
but
believe.
No, I think because his only charge was an illegal rifle. Like, when we tried to bring up all the racist stuff in court, the judge wouldn't allow it because they're
Wasn't buying an illegal gun or having an illegal gun on the street at least minimum 5 years?
If you're a felon.
So
he had no criminal history. I think he did 14 months, man.
No shit.
Yeah, because we were bringing up all like the racist stuff. The judge, he goes, it's not illegal to be a racist. Why you can't bring that in as evidence in court? It's not illegal to be a bigot. And so all we could introduce was the gun stuff, and the judge happened to be a Second Amendment gun guy. So he was just like, give him 14 months or whatever it was.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit's not just gonna go away.
He probably lives like 20 minutes from me. This would be weird if I ever see him in Walmart.
Yeah, that's the thing though, man, with cops though too, and like in the area where you're arresting people and like you just go to the store and like you were saying earlier, you never had like an incident though, like where someone tried to retaliate on you, anything like that?
I had one guy in Richmond when I was at the mall, and I had locked up his brother, and he kind of it was him and another guy, and they kind of got him. I was like, dude, you really want to do this here? And I usually have something with me, right? So, I mean, I'll just have my hand right here. I was like, do you really want to do this in the middle of the mall? And he's like, I'll see you in the hood. I'm like, okay. And then he left. But that's the only one I've had. And doing like undercover stuff, I didn't know the rules. But apparently, after I did that one of the guys that had been doing it a while came up to me and pulled me aside and goes, dude, what the fuck are you doing? He goes, you never do a case in your home state. He goes, you always take, and that was the only one I did in Virginia because that's why I always went to New York or Jersey or Florida or Texas. Because he's like, you don't want to risk that stuff. So usually in the feds, they don't like you to do it if you're living in that state. Yeah. They get people from other states to come in here, and then you go out there.
Yeah, because like, I mean, what if they did though see you and recognize you before in uniform, So it's obviously, I'm sure you know the Donnie Brasco story, right?
Yeah. He was at the school in the FBI.
Imagine that, 6 years. And he got to the point where they wanted to fucking make him 6 years. And Sonny Black, you want to talk about a gangster? He fucking takes off. It's not like it wasn't Lefty. It was Sonny Black who had the pigeon coop on top. He took off all his jewelry, a lot of money, because they called him in. He knew he was going to get killed. So when he showed up to the meeting, they shot him, but it didn't kill him. And he looked at him. He's like, make sure you fucking do it right. And then they fucking killed him. They cut his hands off, though, for introducing a Fed to the mob and stuff like that. But
hey, let me ask you this. How the fuck do you not run? Like, you're Sonny Black. You knew they're going to whack you. Why don't you just get on? You got money. Why don't you just get on a plane and go to fucking Mexico?
They're real Cosa Nostra to the core and believe in it. Like, and even people might say John Gotti like ruined the mob or whatever, though, but he was real Cosa Nostra. Like his son had a safe house for him right up here in the Poconos. And he was like, I don't run from no one and this and that. Gotti was so Cosa Nostra, not talking like the flash and all that, but Cosa Nostra to the point where when he was in the worst, this is how he got the cancer. The water they were drinking in the Illinois prison. I forget, though, the name of the prison, if anyone out there remembers it. But, that's what was getting him sick. And all he had to do was sign a fucking piece of paper that said, I'm going to try to improve my life. It's not ratting on anyone. And he could have went down to like a lower level. Yeah. He wouldn't even fucking do that, dude.
That's crazy.
And like, even though he has life, I'm going to try to improve my life. Like, meaning, okay, what, in here in prison, he wouldn't even sign that. So Sonny, that's the only life they're old timers, man, like that. You get a guy like a Russell Buffalino, if he gets called in or whatever, I'm telling you right now, he's not running. He's going to show up because they really believe in that life. Like that's, they tell you right when you get made, your mother's dying. We don't care. You come to us, you serve the family first. But I hear you. If I know, like, fuck, I'm done, you know what I mean? Fucking, you got money.
You have to come find me. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, like, I respect it though, meaning to the point of like, if that's who they are and they really live it and believe it and live it through and through to the end like that, I mean, how could you not respect walking to your own death?
Yeah.
Like, you get shot and then you just say, make sure you fucking make the next one count. And then boom. Crazy. And then they fucking go bink, cut his hands off. And that's fucking crazy, man. That is crazy. And Lefty, though, was going to get killed, and they stopped him, though, on the way. So, speaking of Lefty, he didn't have money like that to lam it. Sonny Black didn't have money, you don't think? He's a captain. I think, listen, even if you only have a couple, like Whitey Bulger obviously had money to live off of for his whole life. They found $850,000. Well, I talked to people he was in prison with. According to Whitey, and in the memoirs here, he says there was a lot more than that, but they reported $850,000. And he also had other safety deposits going. So I understand what you mean by that, Lefty. Like maybe he wasn't set up like that, but still, though, you would think survival instinct would kick in and be like, hey, I'm going to go here. I'm a gangster. I know how to make money on the street. I could do that. You take a gangster and you put him in just like a normal town. He'll fucking figure it out or whatever the fuck. But they just walk right in and to get killed. And I'm going to be honest, I respect that, meaning that like they took accountability for what they believe in. What do you mean? What's that, Lefty? No. What do you mean no on what? Yeah, elaborate a little bit, Lefty, just so I know what you're saying. But I know what you mean. Like he might not have had enough money to lam it for life. I'm just saying though, that fear factor. I don't care if I don't have $1 on me, Keith. If I got a full tank of gas, you know what I mean? Fucking, I'll figure it out somehow.
I'll steal gas.
Yeah, I'll siphon it. Fucking, we used to do that a long time ago. All the time. We got mountain rides and then we'd fucking siphon gas with the hose. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It's almost like remarkable. Like, you're getting killed.
Yeah.
Okay. And though, that you're not going to like rat or cooperate, run. But those guys that are really true Cosa Nostra, man, like that's what they do,
I guess it's kind of like some law enforcement and military people too. If you're running into it and there's a good chance you're not coming out, you're probably still going to do it.
No, Lefty, no, listen, I think you're missing my point. And what you said right now, you're 100% correct. You would be surprised how much it takes to lam it long term. You need to set shit up. Whitey planned that for years, which he did. And he had money all over, like $25 million all over the place. Actually, they said he was worth $250 million. But and then they found all that money in his walls. But there was other safety deposit boxes. My point being, though, Lefty, is even without, though, like the money, though, like he handed him a roll of money, which could have been like $3,000. And back in those days, when did he get arrested? Was it early 80s? Back in those days, $3,000 could get you started up somewhere. I'm just saying, I'm impressed by the fact that they actually are going in and showing up, money or not. And Lefty, meaning if you're sitting there and you're like, fuck, I don't have the money though to lam it though. My point is, I don't even think Sonny Black thought that. He just says like, they called me in, I'm going to get killed. And he went right into the barmaid. He goes, here, jewelry, take roll of money. And he went. And the rest is history. It's fucking crazy. Even a year. Oh, yeah. No, well, you got to think. People who make $40,000 a year could barely even live. Well, in those days, it's a little different. But Lefty, you still don't have to respect the fact that the guy fucking showed up to get killed. I think like survival instinct you would think would kick in. Money or no money, but I agree with you, Lefty. Yeah. And you're right about Whitey. He had it planned. He was smart, but good old days, stealing gas. Rickster, 570. Rick, he's from my neighborhood. Great to see you, my man. Thanks for being here. Punch that like button if you don't mind. But yeah, man, like I respect people that are meaning like, if they live what they truly are, I respect them. Just like I respect the police going into a fucking house to save someone that they don't even know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I think the big problem is just the media shows you the whatever 5% or 2% of shit cops that make us all look bad, and everybody thinks we're all like that. You know what I mean? Um, I mean,
yeah, but real quick. So you get caught and lose all respect. You need IDs, places to stay, vehicle. Yes, Sonny died with his honor, which was absolutely important. I know. I'm saying though, it's easy I'm saying you, of course, you're gonna say, yeah, I would have showed up too, but you don't know
my ass wouldn't.
Yeah, until that situation happens.
Yeah.
Now, if he's not gonna cooperate on anyone, he just takes off or whatever. But nobody, you want, I guess, his legacy, and people are still talking about it. So what he did, I guess, was, he lived it the way he lived it. I'm saying that you have to respect that, because a lot of people fight or flight, and not even fight or flight, because you can't fight. You're just going to get killed. I would, if I shot, I don't know. I'd probably try to, I don't know. I'd probably try killing them before they could kill me. I'm going to be honest. But, because I don't act like I'm some gangster or whatever, like half of YouTube no fucking does. I'm lefty, and I know you don't either. I'm just saying, though, that, I know how that life, though, fucking works, how it operates, the whole nine. And also, too, maybe besides being on the run from the cops, he's on the run from the mob, too, all that type of stuff. Whitey got away for 16 years because the feds didn't want to find him. He knew too much information, and they didn't want to find him. And he was right in saying, I was there where he got caught. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, he was number 2 next to Osama bin Laden, and then became number 1. And it took you 16 years to put Catherine Gregg's wanted poster up, the woman he was living with. And then the next day, 2 days later, is when they get him. It's like, I think a new generation came in, because he was pulling the strings with the feds, just like Scarpa with that DeVecchio. And DeVecchio got lucky, real fucking lucky, because he, when you're telling, if you're an FBI agent and you're fucking telling these guys, hey, this person's fucking cooperating and he lives here. I mean, John Connolly went away for murder. He's out now on compassionate release, but.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, look at, fuck that. I'm not walking in a room to get clipped. Exactly, Lefty. Oh, Lefty, I wasn't calling you the wannabe gangster, but wait, what did I say to you? You said you didn't know Keith again?
I didn't know that he got out, Conley, on whatever.
Oh yeah, and then when I was at Pat Nee's house, sitting down with Pat Nee, he was real sick. It was this is 2 years ago, and I was at Pat's house. But I was like, man, if I could get him though for this documentary, to really like talk, because people be like. Because my idea was I was going to have the sizzle reel going, and at the end, you were just going to hear Mr. Connolly. First time being interviewed, Bob, and then boom, it goes black. Like if in a film festival, people are buying that shit. But Pat told me, Pat's like, he was sick. He was supposed to die a year ago, but he's still here. He's still doing it for something, but he hasn't talked or anything. But yeah, no, he's out. Yeah, and he got a. You want to know what's crazy about that story? The only guy that doesn't cooperate is a Fed. Connolly took the 40 years. Even when Whitey was on the run, he still wouldn't say anything criminal about him.
That's crazy, yeah.
Insane. At the end of Black Mass, like they got that part right, when it's like they're talking about it, they're showing everyone, and they're like, cooperated. Got John Monterado killed 19 or 21 people, got 11-year sentence. They're showing everyone, and then it comes to him, the FBI agent, John Connolly, 40 years. They took it on the chin. It's like he was a gangster with the badge.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Did you ever see that? I think it's on HBO. It's about those Baltimore cops. It was like a squad. I think it's called This Town Is Ours or something like that.
Yeah, yes, I did. Yeah, I didn't get through the whole thing, but I saw a couple episodes. Yeah.
That was a true story, man. That shit was crazy, dude. Those guys were straight up gangster.
You ever watch The Wire?
Oh, yeah. Yep. That was pretty. I heard that was kind of accurate too.
Yeah. It was about well, before that, they were doing a show. I forget what it's called. I think it was The Corner, or something like that with the actors, but it looked so realistic. But I just loved the way that The Wire though was, because it almost looked like you're watching like a reality show, like the way how they had that all set up and stuff. Like it was unbelievable. And now that's in Baltimore.
But this town was ours, man. Those cops were straight up. They were robbing drug dealers and then selling it, and it was nuts, man. I don't understand how they thought they could never get caught doing the crap they were doing.
Well, look at Mike Dowd, like showing up to fucking the police station in his Ferrari or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, true.
Like,
yeah,
you're just asking for it. And his own fucking partner fucking is the one that ended up though ratting him out. But that's just, you think he would be smart. Like I could say this now. We robbed a place that had to close down because we took it was like definitely grand theft, but the statute of limitations is over, and it was grand theft. But my partner fucking wasn't cashing his paychecks every week. I'm like, dude, because we didn't need to. But I was like, because they were only for like $280 or $300 a week. I'm like, cash the fucking checks, man. Like, what are you doing? I just don't understand. Like how, you gotta look out though for like after yourself. Like if Mike's taking that much money, okay, I'd be saving that for like retirement. Like, you know what I mean? Of course, you want to take out a girl, you want to go out to eat. Of course, you're gonna do some stuff like that. But I mean, I would hide that shit.
That was like on what was it, Goodfellas, with the Lufthansa hit, and half the people just started going out and buying Cadillacs and shit.
Yep. That Christmas party scene when they walk in and De Niro was like, "What's the matter with you? What's it?" He's like, "No, it's in my mother-in-law's name. What's the matter with you?" And then they show the next scene.
Have you seen that new?
They're dead in the Cadillac. You see him dead.
Have you seen that new HBO series that's going to come out with De Niro? The new Mafia one. It's supposed to come out like this month or into this month or something like that. I forgot what it's called.
No, the only thing I see with De Niro though that was Mafia was that new Alto Nights movie. I didn't know he's doing a Mafia show.
I think so. I got to try to find it. Let's see if I can find it, man. It's it might be a movie, but I thought it was it might be what you're talking about. I've seen commercials of it. I forgot what it's called.
On because I have HBO, so it's on HBO Max.
It's not on yet. I just saw commercials of it upcoming.
Robert De Niro, HBO. Is it The Wizard of? No, it's not The Wizard of Lies. HBO new series. I'll put. Let's see. Robert De Niro is involved in two notable series projects: a Netflix limited series called 0 Day and an HBO movie called The Alto Nights.
Yeah, The Alto Nights. Yep, that was it.
Well, The Alto Nights is a movie though that's already out. So what you saw was now that it's out of theaters, it's going on to HBO.
Oh, okay. All right. Have you seen it? Have you seen it? Is it good? Is it accurate or is it bullshit?
No. Well, at the end, it's not accurate at all. I don't want to give everything away because the Appalachia meeting is the meeting that Russell set up in 1957. But the way though, like how like they ended it though and stuff. No. But and also he did a fantastic Vito Genovese. I think someone else should have played Costello. But it's worth a watch. It's a Barry Levinson film. It's a good production.
Sonny said it sucked. That's funny.
Who said that?
Sonny.
Oh, Sonny's the man. Yeah, it's not. It's what I meant was it's not a movie that you're going to be talking about for years.
Yeah.
But when you're watching it, you're going to watch it. It's not something though that like Sonny just said. I'm not going to tell someone the next day, dude, you got to check out Alto Nights. Like, nah.
Oh, yeah. I haven't heard anybody talk about it. If it was in the movies, I haven't heard any mention of it anyway.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it was,
I didn't see it till I saw the commercial on HBO.
What do you think about the De Niro thing? How everyone's like boycotting his movies because of his politics. Let me tell you what I think.
This is what I think. I think all celebrities need to shut the fuck up. I don't care I don't give a shit what a celebrity opinion on politics is. I don't care. Yeah. Go act and make great movies and entertain people. But
like, who are you? Yeah.
Just because you can make a good movie You want me to fucking vote for who you vote for? Get out of here.
Or and with musicians though, with the last presidential campaign though, like when they were paying like on Harris's time, they were paying like all these musicians or whatever, and then the one, what was her name? J-Lo was crying. Well, then you go and live where you're crying for the people and this.
So I mean, I like all different genres of music, right? From growing up in the 90s, I liked Eminem, right?
Yeah.
You make songs about making fun of like retarded people, and then you're going to come out and basically say Trump's Hitler. I'm like, dude, get out of here with that shit, man. Stop. Go back to your mansion and live your life. And he made several people just made so many. I don't know, man. I don't listen to any of it.
Yeah, what's up, Dave? Real quick, Dave, my man. Great talk last night. Then I'll be doing that Mustaine show soon. The great talk with Dave last night. I saw, and it was disappointing. The history was so relevant: political corruption, gangsters, government contracts, and criminal associations in the White House. They messed it up. Oh yeah, no, that's why I said the whole thing was. I mean, I don't want to give it away for people who didn't see it, but they almost made someone look like a cooperator when that's not how it went down at all. And the guy got shot in the head by fucking what's his name by the chin and didn't even cooperate. So it's just Hollywood, man, does that fucking all the fucking time, and I just don't understand.
Hollywood people don't give a shit about you. Neither side
of trying to make money.
Neither side of the political aisle really gives a shit about you. They care
I thought you were talking about like the making of movies, yeah.
With all the shit that coming out with the actors and the politicians, most of them are fucking bigger criminals than anybody listening to this podcast, and most of them are pedophiles. So, fucking
yeah, man, it really is. It's sick, Hollywood, man. Like that's what you got to really want.
So, did you hear like just the? See, I'm gonna get fired up. The Trump. What's the Tesla dude's name?
Oh yeah, Elon Musk.
Apparently, they had a falling out now, and Elon Musk came out the other day and said the reason why Trump won't publish the.
I saw that.
The
Epstein files.
Because he's on it. And it's just like they're all on it, man. It's crazy. When I was in investigations, man, we had this 15-year-old Hispanic girl. She was dropped off at the airport Marriott at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon in her underwear. She had just underwear on. So we take her back to the station and we're talking to her and stuff. And she was basically trafficked. And most of her clients were DC people, high-end judges and politicians. And when we called the feds in and everything, because she was 15, we found her mom. Her mom came to get her. And basically her mom told her not to say one more word to us unless they got X amount of dollars or whatever. And we never heard from them again. But, I mean, she told you that she was like, most of them were, high-end people.
Like Harvey Weinstein, like, oh, you want a part, suck my dick, all that type of shit. Like, it's just, and that's all. Even Dave Mustaine was just on Sean Ryan's show. And they're like, is there anything that people should be worried about if they're trying to get into the music business and the show business? And he said pedophilia. Mm-hmm. It's weird, but it's a bunch of sickos, though, man.
How they just get away with it with impunity fucking kills me. It bothers the absolute. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, and a lot of the girls though did it though with Weinstein, like because they want a part. So good, suck my dick, whatever. Mm-hmm. Like that's just, man, it's fucking like I just don't understand, man. The whole pedophilia and the P Diddy. All that shit that's going on now with him now. Like, it's like, Justin Bieber, when he had him over his house, he's like, oh, we can't talk about our party. But the kid was like 15 or 16 at the time. Like, it's fucking disgusting.
And they wonder why he's so messed up.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, and you're not young. You just talked about your brain doesn't really develop till you're 25. So that's happening while your brain's still developing and you're fucked for life. You are. Like, no matter how much money you have or whatever, I don't care what the fuck anyone says. Someone puts a cock up my fucking ass. I'm cutting her fucking head off, like, you know, or even tries to, you know, ooh, for some fame or whatever. Like, it's just, but I always wondered though, like, because I can't relate to the pedophilia and you can't either. It's like, how did that Hollywood get so hit though with the pedophilia? Like why is it? And it's been like that for a long time.
I think most of it's a blackmail thing, man. I think that's what they're using it for. You know,
Yeah.
that's how Weinstein got all his money. He had no real job. He somehow black people had it. You know, it's like P Diddy. He gets him on video and he blackmails the shit out of him.
Yeah, your cameras set up everywhere. Where's the list of people that were there too? Like Jay-Z, Beyonce, like all those parties and stuff like that. There's a fucking video of him holding a megaphone and he's like, listen, the cops are coming because we're being loud. Everyone under 18 needs to get out of here. And everyone's dressed in like these fucking, they all look like flamencos or whatever the fuck you call them. Like WBRE thing with the fucking, I don't know what that thing is. But they just look like fucking, they're from Stardust or whatever the fuck. But yeah, all the underage people, you have to leave the premises now. You can look it up on YouTube. He's right on top of the fucking thing. I'm talking about it. And then all the baby oil and all the camera.
When I was with
but Keith, you said blackmail, but they're already blackmailing themselves because like someone like Justin Bieber, right? If let's say P. Diddy go fuck them in his ass. Excuse my language, but you know, we're raw here. Let's say though he piped them. My point being is Justin Bieber got so big and huge or whatever, then he could be blackmailing him right back because now he doesn't need him. He's already big or whatever. Yeah. So it's just fucking weird, man.
Like, I can't do it. Right before I was leaving the FBI, because I did a lot of online stuff too. Because I was certified to do UC online stuff. You know, they asked me. They said they needed people to do crimes against children. Absolutely not. There is no way I can look at that shit. First of all, I can't look at that shit. Second of all, if I have to look at that shit and then I find the guy who did it, I'm probably going to be in a cell next to him.
Well, that's what I asked a bunch of other cops that I interviewed. I said, how the fuck, when you found someone, I like what you said though, back in the day though, when there was the Nokia phones or whatever, you could lay a beating on them. But you know, the public's like, you know, the public doesn't give a fuck if you fucking smash one of those fuckers up. And you know what sucks about the pedophilia? You could lock them up for 10 years. They still have that in them. They're just going to get out and do it again.
Yep.
Because I guess what we have towards women,
100%.
Like, that's how they are towards the kids. Yep. So there's no getting rid of that.
Yep.
So I always say Viking culture back in the day, like in Sparta, they throw them out the fucking, that's what they should do. And I don't care what anyone says. Now there's far left people who are sympathizing for them. Well, they didn't mean to be born that way.
What do they call it? Minor attracted people. That's what they call it.
Yeah. Like get the
fuck. I could never do opiates again. It's not like I'm going to ever be cured of, you know, opiates or alcohol. Like it's there forever, dude. And it's I believe it's the same way.
Yeah, but you're not. It's a little different though because you're not acting on it though. Like if this is their sexual preference.
Yeah,
they've been out after 10 years. Yeah, maybe they try with therapy or whatever. But I mean, you know, they have to knock on doors. And I mean,
yeah.
Remember my old man always said, if someone ever knocks on his fucking door and fucking says, "Hey, I'm living down the street," he's lights out. Like, and I was like, I'm right behind you, Pop, because that shit's fucking. Well, that happened once when I was about 9 years old. We're at a bazaar, Holy Savior Church up here, and Indian guy comes up to me and he goes, "Do you know where the Holiday Inn is?" And I pointed to him. I go, "You go down there, you make a right on Kidder Street. It's up there." He's like, "Will you show me and come with me?" I was like, I didn't know at the time. I was like, "Okay, yeah, let me just ask my dad." And I went over. My dad's at the fucking, what do you call it, Big Six fucking wheel with all of his buddies, you know, drinking beer, throwing money down. And I was like, "Dad, this guy wants me to go with him to the Holiday Inn." Dude, all three of them just dropped. They go, "Who?" He goes, "Go back there right now and just talk to him." I go back there. I'm talking to the guy. I see, because there's the back of the church, I see him and two of his buddies come up right from behind. And I mean, devastatingly, like fucking, like, you know, got him. And thank God, dude, that, you know, I didn't do that or whatever. I was just trying to help someone out, but he's a young kid. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll show you. But no.
Now you mess with one of my kids, I'm going to prison.
Oh yeah, he didn't care. Like he was. I mean, they like the priest is the one who actually stopped it because they were going to kill him, and they had to stop him because that's thank God. I'm just saying for me, for my sake, because they say though, like when that happens to you at a young age and your brain's forming, then you could turn into that later. Like, oh, I couldn't even think of that, dude. I'd fucking listen. If I ever like had an urge like that, I'm grabbing my 45 M&P and I'm going boom. Like, there's no way. There's two things I said in my life. If I ever hit a girl in the face, I'm blowing my head off. Hit her anywhere. And if I was ever like, had that in me, like those guys, done.
Yeah.
Done. Just to save fucking other people. Like you would think they would be, because they know it's not right, but that's what that I can't even, it makes me cringe, man. It makes me cringe. I'm remembering though, they're hitting him in the back of the head, dude, and his nose is getting fucking blasted right at the pavement. I'm 9 years old watching this, stopped on. I thought they killed him. And then the cops, well, my uncle was chief of police, and then my other uncle was mayor. But the cops,
that's helpful.
Yeah, they showed up and stuff like that. They put the guy in fucking ambulance and was just like, "All right, we're sorry this happened." Like, they didn't charge. Like, they were happy. Like, who knows? They probably were fucking smashing them a little bit on the way too. I don't give a fuck what anyone says with the far left stuff, and I'm not big right or whatever. I'm just someone that just wants everyone to shut the fuck up and get along. And I don't
listen to it anymore, man. I don't watch news. I don't listen to any of that shit anymore. It's just, it doesn't.
No.
It's people get all spun up. It's like whatever.
And they lie. It all depends who you watch. You watch CNN, they're lying. You watch Fox News, they're lying because it's not normal news anymore. And I remember a long time ago when my father told me, he's like, Putin runs the fucking media in Russia. Like, they can't say anything bad or whatever. Yeah. Well, it's like that. Like here, like we used to have trustworthy news. Yeah. We don't have trustworthy fucking news anymore, like at all.
You'll never see a story on the news that is positive for law enforcement anymore. When was the last time you saw one where like that? Even
defund the police. Remember when that came out?
I mean, even the news clip you put on there about the Navy Yard, that was 2013. Like, you don't see any of that anymore.
Yeah. And since there's some other people here, I'll just play half of it. But if you guys remember this shooting right here.
There were countless heroes on that September morning when the Washington Navy Yard was just thrown into utter chaos.
That's when a gunman took his life as well as the lives of 12 others. Well, today, one of the first police officers to respond when the shots rang out was honored.
Corporal Keith Shibley is presented the Valor Award for his immediate response and courageous actions during the shooting rampage at the Washington Navy Yard on September 6th.
When we found people, we would escort them out because we didn't know where the shooter was. So we didn't want to direct people out of the door when the shooter could be around the corner. So half of us would escort them out, half the team would continue, and then once they were escorted out, we would meet back up and go back in.
So Keith, like, I don't know, you seem to me though to be a guy that's like, let's roll. I don't know.
So it's crazy. Like, I don't want anything like that to happen again.
No.
We were talking about this today. But if something happens and I'm not there, I'm going to be fucking pissed. Like, I would just be pissed. Because unfortunately, like with all the, things we're hearing is, this next year or two, it's going to be bad in the U.S., man. The amount of people that came here from the Middle East, there's a lot. And
how many more years do you have till you could retire?
4.
Okay.
4. But I mean, it's something big's going to happen the next year and a half. It's being talked about in all the federal.
When you say big, are you talking like a 9/11 big?
Yeah. It's going to be big. It might not be like one singular thing like that, but I mean, people are talking about like drones with explosives in 50 different places all at one time or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there's so many people that can't. So when the Afghan withdrawal was so fucking botched by, the administration that was in office then, we held. I'll send you some of the pictures, man. Since they were just flying people into the U.S. left and right, I think we had 2 full airplane hangars with cots in them, and I think just Dulles Airport we housed 6,000 refugees at the airport because it was an overtime gig, and I love me some overtime. So we'd have to sit there like making sure that they didn't run out of the whatever. But yeah, man, there's a lot of people here that weren't vetted properly that don't like us very much.
Yeah, the Jesus, next year and a half. Like I know because it had nothing really has happened since then. And that was that was already 24 years ago. And I remember I was in New York City the day before the fucking Yankees game. My brother fucking comes in my room. He's like, the World Trade Center got hit by a plane. And I'm thinking
with investigating, being on the terrorism task force for 10 years, they're very patient people. They don't, waiting 10, 15 years is nothing. And now they don't care. And now that like the first World Trade Center bombing was what, 92 or 94, somewhere in there?
93, I thought. Was it 92?
So I mean it was almost 10 years later before they did it again. So and then the war, the 20-year war kept them busy. They don't have that anymore.
Yeah, but there's a lot of shadiness with that though, because like then we went to fucking Iraq after that because Bush's father started that whole thing is a little.
Yeah. We had no business in Iraq at all.
Yeah,
it's do you know how much money people made off that war?
Well, how about I'm taking Barry Levinson because I said the name from all tonight. It's the one guy. What the hell's his name? He put out an insurance thing the day before. Like if it ever gets hit with terrorist attack, that he gets $1 billion and stuff.
It's all crazy, man.
Yeah, like do you think I'm not trying to get all conspiracy, but do you think that it is what they say?
Yeah.
You don't think our government had anything to do with it at all?
With 9/11?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I hope not.
Yeah. And then, but how about Building 7 though? That was definitely just controlled, it's. I've heard both sides of that one, and I can go either way because with the, I don't know. I don't know how they explain it with the tunnel that went to it or whatever. With the over or under pressure damage, I don't fucking know, man. But now you have those people online saying like it wasn't a plane. Like, okay, well then how about the family of all the loved ones and this and that? Like,
they're saying the Pentagon was a rocket, but trust me.
My only question with the Pentagon though is, it's the most highly secured place ever, and there's just that one camera angle of that, like that, where you just see it just real quick. You can't tell what it is. I mean, and I'm not, you would think though there would be more footage or something.
It probably is that they didn't want to put out. I don't know.
It was a plane though, because my buddy Mark Dressler's brother was in the Pentagon when it happened. It was a plane.
My partner from the FBI was the lead evidence tech, and I seen hundreds of pictures of plane parts and American Airlines. They're like, oh, it was a military. No, it was an American Airlines plane. Like, they found part most of it. But like the helicopter crash when I was working in February, there was only one video of that, and we have 1 million cameras at the airport. Then the second video came out. 2 dispatchers actually got charged with it because they took the video from the airport cameras and they sold it to CNN. Is how the clearer one came in, because when you get hired there, it's you sign papers saying that you will not use any video from the airport without permission or whatever the fuck it is or whatever, and they took it and sold it. But so I mean, I'm not there. I mean, there's probably, just from that crash, there's probably 10 different angles of that thing that nobody will ever see. But
I hear you. No, I hear you there, my man.
They probably do have different cameras. It's just they're not showing people for whatever reason. I don't know.
Man, look at this, Keith, already going on 2 hours and 6. Every time that we talk, man, it flies by, man. I got to fucking handle some shit though here. Next Thursday, though, folks, next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, we will be back. and for the live. And then I have some episodes and shorts, obviously, that'll be posted up during the week. But right now, we're really in the film and in production with It Is What It Is, the true story of the Buffalino family. And, you know, if you could follow Keith. It's in the description, his Instagram, and then my Instagram's there. And you could see some footage, some behind the scenes of what the project we're working on, and just my normal Instagram. I almost do more Instagram than YouTube now. But anyway, both of the Keith's channel, my channel is in the description. Give us a follow, subscribe to the channel. And Keith, I always thank you for your time, man. This is always fun. And I really appreciate it. Time always flies by, man, when I talk with you. And folks, please subscribe up to the Loomis and Keith Shibley show. And we will see you Thursday at 8 p.m. next week.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you then.
All right, Keith. Take care, my man. Thank you. And thank you, everyone out there, for watching. And please hit that like button and subscribe. Keith, I'll talk to you, brother.
All right, brother. See you.
Thanks, bye.
I don't give a fuck anymore.